Anniversary of the death, the Yortzeit. It's like the equivalent of the Saints' Day for one of the most beloved Hasidic saints, Levi of Berdishis, who lived in the late 1700s in Ukraine, and he was the great. We would call him like the defender of the people. He would look to find the good in everybody, and he would the famous, archetypical story is that he saw somebody. He was either like fixing the wheels on his wagon or loading up, doing work, and he was wearing his prayer shawl and the prayer phylacteries. And someone else would see that and it's like, what, he doesn't have any other time, he's so lazy, he got up late, whatever, that this is the only time he could put on his prayer shawl and his phylacteries and say his prayers while he's doing some work. But then the Berdishis, the way he saw it, he's like, no, just opposite. Look at how holy this person is. Even when he's working, he's praying. This is a famous archetypical story about Rabbi Levi of Berdishis. So he wrote a commentary in the Bible called Kedushas Levi, means the holiness of Levi. So yesterday in the synagogue we started the book of Genesis. So we can look right from the beginning. This is his second comment on the first words in the Bible. A Yomar, we could say Bereishis Elokim es. In the beginning, God created. Right? God created the heavens and the earth. So the Berdishis Rebbe, the Berdishis Rav Schusser Goleno, explains like this. It seems that all the worlds and all the angels and the lower world all receive the energy and the blessing from the blessed Creator. And all the life force of all the worlds only comes from Him. This is what it says in the Zohar, quoting Elijah the prophet, that if he would remove his energy from them, it would be removed, and he is the one who is the source of the energy for everything, is God. So the worlds cannot receive the energy from God except through garments. That's the archetype that the Kabbalists, the mystics, use to describe the filters from which God's light is filtered into the world. And so through many different concentrations, as is known from the writings of Rabbi Isaac Luria, the Arizal, because all the worlds are materialistic, and they have material when compared, even the angels, even the spiritual levels, when compared to God, would be considered physical in the way that if you would compare something physical to something spiritual, is the same type of thing that you would compare. If you compare the angels to God, the angels would be considered almost physical when compared to God, because of how God is above anything, even the spiritual world. God transcends everything, but also is present everywhere within the physical world, but He is also totally transcendent. And even from the energy that God sends into the world to create the worlds is transcendent, and so in comparison, everything that is down in these worlds would be considered to be physical when compared to them. Even a pure thought, which is the thinnest thing you could think of, the most spiritual, least physical thing we could imagine, when it's compared to the energy of God that is put into the world, that even a pure and holy thought would be considered to be materialistic. And the life force that is drawn from God, that a pure thought is a pure. So teaching. So from the life force that's drawn from God. So therefore, before God created the world, He created the higher worlds in order for them to be like garments for the lower worlds. So that God's light could have a filter through which this world could receive whatever energy it is able to receive. And through this, the lower worlds are able to receive the energy that's drawn down directly from God. And these worlds are very pure, and that's why it says in Isaiah chapter 58, verse 11, and you'll be satisfied with the pureness of the soul, of your soul. But if it wasn't for this, all the worlds would not be able to withstand the light of God's energy and His life force that is drawn from Him. So we see that therefore before God even created the worlds, He had to create these pure, what we could call archetypically garments, that would be the filters through which God's light could come into the world. And these very pure worlds and these very pure attributes make it possible for the worlds under them to receive and to withstand the energy, the life energy that's drawn from God. And so this is the simple meaning of the first verse in the Bible, Bereishis, in the beginning of everything, Bara Elokim es hashamayim, that God created the heavens. But in Hebrew, there's a word before a definite article, et, aleph taf. It's the first letter and the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and it's not a word you can really translate into English, but homiletically you could also understand it to be with or to. But it's also etymologically connected to the word at, which is for you, or also to come, to arrive at somewhere. So, for example, Asa Bereishis Kedushas, that what we read on the day before yesterday, Deuteronomy 33, last week, Deuteronomy 33, verse 2 weeks ago, and it comes with him the multitudes of the holy myriads. And this is the meaning of Bereishis, in the beginning of everything. Bara es, God created es. What is es? Asa, to come, these pure worlds that were created before the creation of the universe, in order that the heavens and the earth could come from them. So es is a word that means like to come, to arrive, that from the higher worlds, which are very pure, the higher worlds, we could come to this level of the heavens and the earth.
They kind of like come together, right?
Well, because it was a prerequisite. Before this world could be created, there was the prerequisite of the higher worlds to be like the filters for God's light, because if we just had God's light directly, then we would have
it would be filtered.
Yeah, it would be like blinded by the light. We'd have no free will. We wouldn't be able to exist.